What's good, my shalomi homies? I kind of got this underbeard because you're not allowed to bring a razor on the plane. I've been in Florida for like almost 2 weeks at this point over the winter break. That's why there's been no more videos, no new videos coming out. And that's also why I'm filming this from a non-standard room in my grandma's house without any equipment, no laptop, no microphone or nothing to start the phone. But I ran into somebody very interesting, a very interesting individual, and I just had to share my experience, especially like this is right after it happened maybe an hour ago, and so I gotta share my experience right fucking now. So effectively, Tarpon Springs, it's this town in Florida, and it's got a high Greek population. It's known for its like sponge docks, and it's got a lot of fishing culture and a lot of Greek culture mixed in with it because of the sponges and whatever. And it's very dense as well. It's kind of like you're walking through like downtown. If you ever been to like Boulder City, Colorado, or something, or not Boulder, the Boulder City that's right by fucking Las Vegas. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but if you ever been to like Boulder City, it's kind of like that, but tighter. And I walk into this place. It's called it's like an indoor strip mall, but there's only 5 stores and everything. It looks like you're walking through fucking Afghanistan, like a trading market in some Middle Eastern country, like a bazaar. Bazaar. I think that's how you spell it. Where, you got fucking Indian people or whatever, they got the fucking blanket out, they got all their wares sitting on it, and they're sitting there, ding-a-ling-a-ling, I'm going to barter for whatever the fuck. Yeah. So it's pretty much like that. And there's like 5 stores, everything's super compact. So I'm going in there with my buddies, and my buddies, they're both military veterans. One's Navy, one's Army. And so we walk into this one store, really cramped store, and I look up right above the door. As soon as you walk in, there's a row of a couple of hats. And one of the hats is Korean War vet, there's Vietnam War vet, and then there's, Air Force, Navy, and a Marine Corps hat. And I look up, and I kind of do like the Fast Times at Ridgemont High thing. It was like, you dick! I was like, but instead of that, I said, no, no Coast Guard? What an asshole. To my buddies, because, they know nobody knows about the Coast Guard. Nobody gives a fuck about the Coast Guard. Because why the fuck should they? Actually, I love the Coast Guard. I'm thinking about joining the Coast Guard, so I don't mean to be an ass, but, respectfully, you're the smallest out of all the branches. Like, there's more people in the NYPD than there are in the Coast Guard, so go fuck yourself. But I was making a little joke. And I see this small, I don't know if she was a midget, but like, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it might be a duck, so she might be a midget. But I see this tiny gremlin thing pop out from behind the counter. I didn't even fucking see her when I went in. She pops out from behind the counter, and she kind of points at me, like the leprechaun guy from the movies. Says, yeah, 1, we are not assholes, and 2, we have Coast Guard hats in the back. And I shit you not. If you ever seen that, like, really famous video from, like, 15, 20, 6, 7 years ago, or whatever the fuck, it's this really short guy, and, like, he's got his pants all up to his nipples, and he's got his shirt tucked in and everything, and he's, like, walking around, he's kind of walking around like a gremlin, he's got a little bag, and he's yelling at this street performer that's, like, outside of a Holocaust museum. He says, who the fuck are you? This is not art. You don't know how to play. This is not art. I'll probably find it, and I'll link it in the description, but I shit you not. I'm not entirely sure if the person in the 15-year-old video was a woman or not, but if it was a woman, there's a very strong chance it was the exact same person who was behind this counter in a random shit-for-brains mall in Tarpon Springs. And so, yeah, whatever. She was like 4'6", had this really, really nasally voice. Kind of sounded like a Jewish Carl Weiser. Kind of like Kyle's cousin Kyle. It was horrible. It was horrible listening to this woman. But yeah, so I started apologizing and I kind of laughing off. Yeah, I didn't really mean to offend. Sorry, my bad, my bad. I'm not even in the Coast Guard, blah, blah, blah. He says, okay, yeah. But you want to know what we don't have in the back? I never understood. Space Force. And so my dad, and he's pretty well educated and whatnot. He knows his stuff. He knows his military. And so my buddy, he goes, not my dad, my buddy. He goes and he's talking to this lady, and he's kind of explaining to her. He said, well, I mean, I think the Space Force actually, they do a bit more than you think. And she says, no, have any Space Forces won Purple Hearts? What wars have they fought in? They're not even a branch of the military. And I notify her, I inform her politely that technically the Coast Guard is not a part of the military either. And I tell her that it's a part of DHS, Department of Homeland Security, which it is. I looked that up, you stupid crow ho. Yes, but so I looked it up and I told her, yeah, apparently it's actually a part of DHS. She says, no, it's not. It's a part of the Marines, and the Marines are a part of the military, and they don't... Wait, no. She says it's a part of the Marines, and the Marines are a part of the Navy, because it's all water, and it's all part of the military. I know my stuff. I went to basic training for 1 day. And she tells us a story about how apparently her dad and her brothers went to basic training at, like, this all-male academy or some shit. In the military, and she went for 1 day before getting kicked out. So, like, I don't even know how she got in. Maybe it was like a he's the man kind of situation, where she just, buzzed her head or whatever, and went out like G.I. Jane. But I don't even know. It doesn't matter. And so, the thing about me, I'm very argumentative. I like to debate. I'm very used to debating people, and I'm just all around a general asshole. So when she started going off in this little diatribe, like, my dad could literally see, he tells me after, fuck, not my dad, fuck. He looks just like my dad. He's bald like my dad. He's not my fucking dad. And my buddy, he looks at me, and like he can see my face contorting. He's like, ugh. Like I'm developing an argument to beat this fucking woman into the ground in my head. And he looks at me. He's like, no. He's like, no, don't do it. And so I don't. I back off. Yeah, but what else did she do? Oh yeah. So he clapped back. He's kind of explaining, and he mentions Ronald Reagan talking about Star Wars. Now, Star Wars in the 1980s was some kind of like, how Israel has the Iron Dome, where it's literally like a cybersecurity dome that apparently blocks missiles coming in and deactivates them, and like it's impervious to cybersecurity attacks. Well, apparently America is doing something similar called the Golden Dome, which I remembered this from like years ago or whatever the fuck. And so my dad was explaining to her that, yeah, it's like the Star Wars program that, like, Ronald Reagan used to have. And this lady, she's old as fuck. And so he's kind of just assuming she knows about Star Wars, like Ronald Reagan's Star Wars. And he makes it very abundantly clear that he's talking about, like, Star Wars with Ronald Reagan, not like Lucasfilm Star Wars. And he's explaining the Iron Dome. And she chimes in. She's like, interrupts him. All right, whenever you see a Wookiee, then I'll put a Space Force hat in my store. Whenever they find a Wookiee. It's like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Shut up, bitch. Yeah, but, so we left, and that's it. And that's the story about how I met some crazy batshit goofy lady at a random strip mall in Tarpon Springs, Florida.